I do happen to be off today and tomorrow, so I'm going to try to get some games in while I can. Hopefully the voice will hold out, the sniffles will hold off, and we'll be able to get this game rolling, as they say. Starting pitchers for today's game for the Brewers and the Angels. It'll be Bill Wegman for the Brewers, Don Sutton for the Angels. Wegman enters the game 3-0. The Sutton enters 1-2. This is game number 171 on the replay. Second game played on, actually should be May 5th. I don't know why I put May 3rd there. This is Cinco de Mayo on the replay. May 5th. Ballpark effect singles 1-6 for lefties and righties. Home runs are 1-5 lefties and righties. Brewers into the game 18-6, first place in the American League East. And California, in fact, we'll go ahead and show this. I went ahead and wrote it on the board. These are the standings. Let me get this little light off of here. That ring light. Hopefully that will not distract quite as many. All right, look at the East standings. We got Brewers at 18-6, the Yankees at 18-7, a half game back. Toronto 14-9, Detroit 11-13, Cleveland 11-14, Baltimore and Boston. In the West, you have Oakland with a 4.5 game lead over the White Sox and the Royals, who are both 11-11. Texas 10-12 is 5.5 back. California 11-15, looking to make up some ground. Minnesota 10-14, Seattle in last place 9-17. So that's where they stand at the moment. Couple of player moves for the Angels. Bob Boone has come off the injured list, and he is going to be on the roster. He's not starting, but he is on the bench and is available. He will be there, and Garcia, the pitcher, has been demoted to AAA. For the Brewers, they have made two moves. B.J. Surhoff and Mike Ciardi are out, and John Henry Johnson, a left-handed reliever, and catcher Charlie O'Brien are in. And in fact, O'Brien is in the starting lineup for today's game. So those are player moves in this game before this game started. So Bill Wegman will be finishing up the warm-up tosses. Wegman, like I said, is 3-0 on the replay. To get his full stats, we go to the Strat computer. He is 3-0 with a 3.71 earned run average, 34 innings pitched, 33 hits, 4 walks, and 17 strikeouts. So 4 walks in 34 innings to me is really, really what's helping him out. He's low on the walks, and that can keep those extra base runners off the base. That can tend to help you out quite a bit. I know it's an unusual time for me to be playing a game, but hey, play when you can, I say. And if you can't catch it live, you can always catch it on the replay. Not a problem. My coffee's gotten cold, so I'll have to reheat that at some point. All right, so Brian Downey will lead things off. He is hitting .320, 7 homers and 22 driven in from that leadoff spot. Hello, Philip. Good to see you. That's a 2-5 for Downing, rather. 2-5 for Downing. That's a single. So Brian Downing keeps the hot hitting going with a leadoff single. He's not really a threat to run, so he will not go anywhere. Devon White will step to the plate. Downing will not even be held. And nothing on the Havoc. So here's Devon White. The White is hitting .239, 2 homers and 8 driven in. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. So first strikeout of the game for Bill Wegman. 1 away, and that's going to bring up Wally Joyner. He is second in the league in home runs with 9. He's got 9 homers, 22 runs driven in, hitting .337, doing very well for himself to start the season. In 101 at-bats. Here is the pitch. 1-2 for Joyner. He's going to hit a fly ball to center field, but that's an A, so that means that Downing's actually going to get to move up to second base. It was so deep on that fly ball A that the runner will move up. Don't see those very often, but this one is that case. So Downing now in scoring position with 2 outs. Clutch situation for Doug DeCinces, third baseman. DeCinces on the replay hitting .220, 4 homers and 8 driven in. He hit he hit .234 in the real world, so he's not that far off. 1 chance for a wild pitch. Wegman's wild pitch rating is a 0. He's a balk of 4, but a 0 wild pitch. Sutton is a 7 wild pitch and a 0 balk. So no wild pitch. Here's DeCinces. 4-9, and that's going to be a solid double to center field. And the fact that he moved up on that A means he scores automatically. Might have had a test to try to score from first base, but from second base he can score easily on the double by DeSensei. So that key deep fly ball by Joyner won't show up in the box score, but it certainly paid dividends. And the Angels lead it 1-0. RBI double for Doug DeSensei. Brings up Jack Howell. Howell hitting 279, 2 homers and 10 driven in. Wegman thought he'd get away unscathed, but DeSensei had other ideas. 6'5", left-handed, and that's a pop-up to the first baseman, Greg Brock, and that will end the inning. But damage done, the RBI double from Doug DeSensei. And at the end of half an inning of play, it is the Angels 1 and the Brewers coming to bat. And veteran Don Sutton on the mound for the California Angels. He comes into the game 1-2 on the season with a 4.40 ERA, 31 innings pitched, 26 hits, 3 walks, and 15 strikeouts. So those numbers are pretty good on the surface, but he has given up some runs. He's given up 7 long balls in 31 innings. That's been his downfall, the home run ball, the gopher ball. Here's Robin Yount hitting .313, 6 homers, 22 driven in, and oddly enough, he hit .312 real world, so he's right on his average. 1-8, and that's going to be a leadoff walk to Robin Yount. And we'll see if he gets the lead. He needs a 5 or a 6 to obtain the lead. And he gets it with a 6. So how about that? Robin Yount gets the lead, so he will be looking to run. And we'll see about how many stolen bases he has coming into this. Yount has 3 steals coming into this game. So he's looking for stolen base number 4. He is a 16. Being held makes him a 14, and the -1 from Sutton's a 13. 1-13, and he's going to get there. And he does not. That's a 19. I'm sorry, is that a 19? Boy, that's a shady-looking die there. That is a 19. The 1 is actually missing there. It's kind of, I need to get another blue die because that actually is a 19 because the 9 is right here. 6 is here, 9's here. That's actually a 19, so he gets caught stealing. But I am going to get the other blue die because that one, I didn't realize the number 1 had been scraped off so much. But that is a tag out by Schofield, and Yount is caught stealing 2-6. And that kind of put the kibosh on that. So let me get the other blue D20 because I don't like the way that one looks. I'm trying to go with Brewer colors as best I can, but I may have to go with something else if these blue D20s don't act right or don't show up right. So there, let's get the 19 on this one. There it is. There's a solid looking 19 right there. So we'll go with that blue 20. See how that does. So Swain is your batter, Dale Swain. Swain, the shortstop, hitting .287, 5 homers, 18 driven in. And that is a 111, and that's a split chance. 4-20, though, is a lineup second. That is clearly a 20, so he lines it to the second baseman, McLemore, for out number 2. And like I said, don't expect a big crowd in this time of day, but play when you can, the way I have to look at it. Here's Glenn Braggs, .297, 3 homers, 21 driven in. 4-3, and that's a ground ball pitcher X. So right to Don Sutton. He is a 4-0, so we know he will not make an error. It doesn't matter whether he will get to it or not. 4-15 he will, so that's going to be an easy play to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Brew Crew. Caught stealing kind of took the starch out of that, and at the end of 1, it's California 1, Milwaukee nothing. Rematch of the 1982 ALCS. But these teams look much, much different. In fact, Sutton was pitching for Milwaukee back then. All right, here's Dick Schofield, shortstop. He will lead things off. Schofield hitting .202, a homer and 10 driven in. Not doing very well, obviously. It's a 3-6, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Swain will take care of it, and there's 1 away. 1 down for Gary Pettis, center fielder, speedster. Hitting .314, no homers, 11 driven in. He does have 2 steals. 3-6, and he's going to draw a walk, and he's going to get a chance to get one of those steals as he draws the walk. And now, to get a lead, he needs a 5 or a 6 to obtain the lead. does not get the lead, so he will hold. And here's McLemore. McLemore hitting 220, 2 homers, 14 driven. 612, switch hitter batting left. That's a ballpark blast. McLemore, though, has weak power. That's a 17, so it doesn't even fall into that category. So it's just going to be a fly to right field. 2 down. 1-5 for home runs, but McLemore had weak power anyway. So 2 down, and that brings up the catcher, number 9 hitter Daryl Miller, hitting 200 even in 40 at bats. He's 10 for 40. I'm sorry, he's 8 for 40. No homers and 4 driven in. (5-2), right-handed, and that's a fly ball left field X. We are looking at the left fielder, Rick Manning. He's a 1, so you know he's going to get to it. We're just worried about the E15. Oops, wrong die. E15 and an 8. I think he's okay with that, so we'll double check it. E15 and an 8 for a left fielder. E15, there is no 8. No 8 there at all. So Manning will make the play, and that will end the inning. We go to the bottom of the second. Still 1-0 Angels. And Greg Crocodile Brock will lead things off for the Brew Crew against Mr. Sutton. Brock on the replay hitting 348, 2 homers, 16 driven in. It's a 3-8, and that's a solid single for Greg Brock. His average continues to climb. He is no threat to run, so he will not be held. And here comes the designated hitter, Billy Joe Robideau. Robideau on the replay hitting 313. He's way above his skis. He only hit 194 real world. And he's certainly off to a hot start. In 32 at bats, he's got 30 more bats coming, basically, based on his real world at bat total. 2-7 struck him out. Well, that kind of brings him down a notch as Sutton picks up the K. First strikeout for Sutton. And that brings up Charlie O'Brien, the newly minted Charlie O'Brien. He just got called up to take the place of Surhoff, who is out. And Charlie O'Brien getting his first at bat of the season, so obviously no batting average to reference. See what he can do here against Don Sutton. 4-8, and that's an in-home run chance on a ballpark blast, 1-5, but that's a 20. So it'll just be a fly to left. He had weak power anyway. Would have been a single, but since he failed, it's just a fly to left. So 2 down for Rick Manning, left fielder. Limited duty, he is tearing it up, though. He's 5 out of 9, hitting 556. No homers and a run driven in. Very limited duty, just 9 at bats, so you got to give him some time here. He hit 228 real world. I'm sure he will come back down to earth. 1-3 is a split chance. 1-7 for a single. That's a 14. He lines it to second. Snagged by McLemore, and that's going to end the inning. So that'll bring that average down a little bit. We go to the third. It's still 1-0 Halos over the Brew Crew. Wegman back out. Now the top of the order will be coming up for both teams in the third. I'm sorry, for the Brewers in the third. The Angels in the third, but the Brewers still have a couple of guys at the bottom of the order that haven't hit yet. Here's Downing. He's singled and scored his first trip. Scored on the double by DeSensei. 2-6, and that's going to be another single for Brian Downing. He's 2 for 2. And that'll bring up Devon White. Of course, Downing will not be held. White struck out his first time up. The only strikeout so far. That's a 1 for Wegman, but he has no wild pitch, so will not be a wild pitch. 1-7 is a strikeout. That's the second strikeout for White. And the second strikeout for Wegman. Got him twice. 1 away for Wally World. He had that deep fly to center field his first time up that actually advanced the runner. 2-10, and that's going to be a ballpark blast. 1-5, but that's a 10, so it's just a deep fly to right. County Stadium not being very giving of home runs as he went deep and couldn't get there. And here's DeSensei. He doubled. Had an RBI double his first trip. Same situation with Downing on base, but he's on first, not second. See what the Sensei can do this time against Wegman. 3-5, and he strikes out. That is strikeout number 3 for Wegman, and it ends the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. Score still 1-0 California. I'm sorry, bottom of the 3rd. I don't know why I said bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the 3rd. Sutton has a fatigue of 5, so we'll keep an eye on that when it gets to the 5th inning. Wegman's a 7, so he's good to go for a while. Here's Castillo playing second base. While Molitor is injured, they have Gantner moved over to 3rd, and Castillo filling the role with 2nd. He's hitting $167, no homers, 2 driven in. 5-6, switch hitter batting left is a strikeout for Don Sutton. Strikeout number 2 for the Hall of Famer. 1 away, and here's Jim Gantner. Don't know if there's any substance or scuff on that ball, but umpire didn't detect anything, so let it go. Here's Gantner. Gantner hitting .338, no homers, 4 driven in. 1-7, and that's a 1-2 home run. 3-20 is a double. That'll be a double for Gantner. His hot hitting continues. And now Gantner at second base with 1 out for Robin Yount. Sutton. First spot of trouble for Sutton. That's a 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball on Miller. His pass ball rating is a 6. 20, no pass ball. So we go to Yount. Sutton to Yount. Gantner not being held at second. 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. And since the runner's not being held, second baseman McLemore keeps his 2E22 rating. That's important. I would have dropped to a 3, but he keeps the 2. Going to 17 is not going to matter anyway. He'll get to that. E22 and an 11. See if that's going to be okay. E22 for a second baseman and an 11 is good. 12 was an error, but not 11. And he had a 17 and a 2, which is a G1, but with the ball hit to the right side, Gantner will take 3rd on the ground out. So now there's 2 away. And it's up to Mr. Dale Swain. Clutch situation. 2 outs. Gantner at 3rd. Swain lined to 2nd his first time up. That's a 2. Chance for another balk or pass ball. This time we're looking at a balk rating, but Sutton has a 0 balk rating, so there's no balk. Go to Swain. 1-5, and he's going to ground it to first base, and Wally Joyner will take it to the bag himself and end the inning. So the threat is thwarted. And Sutton gets out of it. At the end of 3, it's still California 1, Milwaukee nothing. Here is Wegman facing Jack Howell. Howell popped to first his first time up. That's a 3-4, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Swain will handle it, no problems. 1 down. Here's Schofield. 4-3. Ballpark blast. It's a 1-5. That's a 10. It will be a fly to left. He did have normal power, but couldn't get the roll he needed. So it's just going to be a fly to left field, hauled in out there by the left fielder, Rick Manning. 2 down for Gary Pettis. Walked his first trip. 6-8, switch hitter batting left is a ground ball to second, and Castillo will handle it. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Bill Wegman. Boy, much different game than last night's Boston-Oakland game where we had 30-something runs, or 20-something runs and 30-something hits. It was not pretty. This is much more to my liking. Don Sutton back out. We'll be facing Braggs, Brock, and Robideau in the 4th for the Brew Crew. Braggs grounded back to Sutton his first trip. 2-6, and he's going to ground it to short. Schofield will handle it. 1 away. And I have a phone call coming in. I'm going to let that ride. And hopefully it'll go to voicemail if it's, I don't know if it's anything important or not, but we'll find out. later on. All right, here's Glenn Bragg. Or, no, I'm sorry, Glenn Bragg. Bragg just grounded to short. I got distracted by the phone call. All right, here we go. Greg Brock, 5'12", left-handed. Ballpark blast, 1-5. That's a 3. It's gone. Greg Brock, look at it again. Greg Brock has normal power against right-handers. It's a 5'12", left-handed ballpark blast, 1-5. That's a 3. It is gone. Greg Brock has just tied the ball game with a home run, his third of the season. Third of the season. And I'm going to pause this. I'm going to take this. There was a voicemail left. It may be important. So I'm going to go ahead and take it, and I'll be right back. Okay, the voicemail just came up on my text, and it's not anything important, so I'm going to let it ride, and I'll respond later. It's nothing urgent, no family emergencies or anything, so we're going to keep rolling. But the home run from Greg Brock has just tied this ball game at a run apiece. And now that will send up Billy Joe Robideau. Make sure we're caught up here. Billy Joe Robideau is your batter. Robideau, his first time up, struck out. Tied at 1 here in the bottom of the fourth. 4-2, left-handed ground ball back to Sutton. And there's 2 away. 2 down for Charlie O'Brien, his first game back, or first game in the replay since being called up from AAA, take the place of the injured Surhoff. So he's 0 for 1. He flew to left his first chance. 4-2 on the right-hand side is a strikeout for Sutton. That is strikeout number 3 to end the inning. But the home run from Greg Brock has tied this game. We go to the 5th, and we are tied at a run apiece. Run apiece, and here is Wegman facing McLemore. McLemore flew to right his first time up. 1-9 for McLemore. He grounds it to third. Gantner over to first, 1 away. It's odd how you try to play Strat-O-Matic to kind of get away from real world, and then real world phone call comes in. It just kind of interrupts what you're doing sometimes. Hello, Colin. Good to see you again. Like I said, I'm in it's an unusual time for me to be playing. I just happened to be off today, so decided to get a game in. Here's Darryl Miller, 3-7, and that is a ground ball to third. So once again, Gantner makes the play, 2 down. A normal nighttime stream will go on tonight around 8:30. And that'll be the Seattle Mariners and the Detroit Tigers, Mike Moore against Jack Morris. It'll be the first game back for Kirk Gibson from injury. So he'll be making his season debut tonight. Here's Downing. He has singled twice. It's a 4-8, and he's going to do something here. 1-2 is a double, 3-20 is a single. So yet again, third hit for Downing. He's 3 for 3. And that'll bring up Devon White. Devon White is 0 for 2. He struck out twice. 1-8, and not this time. 1-5 is a home run. That's a 4. It's gone. Devon White, a 2-run home run. Look at it again. 1-8, right-handed. 1-5 is a home run. That's a 4. Home run, Devon White, his third of the season. RBIs 9 and 10. So he has made up for those 2 strikeouts with his third home run of the season. And all this with 2 outs and the base is empty. He scores Downing to give the Angels now a 3-1 lead. And that'll bring up Wally Joyner. 0 for 2, 2 flyouts. 2-9, and he will hit a 1-3 single. Anything else he lines to second, that will be a liner to Castillo to end the inning. But the 2-run home run off the bat of Devon White has given the California Angels a 3-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the fifth. Bottom of the fifth. And this will be the fatigue inning for Don Sutton, so we'll keep an eye on him. Make sure he doesn't run into any problems with fatigue. Rick Manning is your batter. Line to second his first trip. That lineup brings him down to an even 500 now. He's 5 for 10. 4-6, left-handed, fly to center. Now he's 4 for 11, so the average is going to start swindling down closer to reality. Here's Castillo. Struck out his first time up. 2-7 and struck out again. Fourth strikeout for Sutton. 2 up, 2 down. And that brings up hot-hitting Jim Gantner. His average is up now to 347. He hit 272 real world. 1-4. This time he grounds it right back to Sutton. It's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Sutton. And he will keep full endurance into the sixth. No question about it. As he goes 1-2-3 to take care of the Brew Crew. Start the top of the sixth. It'll be DeSensei leading things off. He has doubled and struck out, 1 for 2 against Wegman. 2-10, and for DeSensei is a split chance. 1-6 is a single, 7-20 lines to short. That's a 13. He will line it right to the shortstop, Dale Swain. 1 down. My voice is not back to where it needs to be. I'm still a little nasally, as I'm sure you can tell, but better than what it was a couple of days ago. All right, Jack Howell. 3-4, and that's a ground ball to short. Swain will take that, flip it on over to Brock, 2 down. And that'll send up Nick Schofield. He's 0 for 2. 4-8, and not 0 for 2 any longer. 1-2 is a double. Anything else is a single. That'll be a base hit for Schofield. 2-out single, and last inning, an innocent 2-out single by Downing, but then White followed with the homer. Let's see what Pettis can do. I doubt there's going to be any kind of a home run to deal with. Now, Schofield looking to get the jump. He needs a 4 or a 5 to get the lead. Does not get it, but that's a 1, so that means he possibly could be picked off. His secondary lead is a 12. So 1-12, he gets back. 13 or higher, he is picked off. He gets back, but he cannot establish the lead after that. So Schofield, fortunate to get back, but he's stuck there now. And here's Gary Pettis. 3-11, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-6, but that's not going to fly. That's going to end up being a line out to second baseman Castillo to end the inning. So the inning is over. Nothing doing for the Angels. The score remains 3-1. As we go to the bottom of the sixth, and again, Sutton has full endurance as he gave up nothing last inning. He maintains that full endurance. And leading things off will be not Gantner. He made the last out. It's actually Robin Yount, top of the order. Robin Yount will lead off. Get that straight. Make sure we got that all squared away. I have to raise this up a bit just to fit the rest of the page here. There we go. I think that works better now. See everything a little bit better, I think. All right. So Robin Yount will lead things off. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Did get caught stealing. 4-10 on Sutton is a ground ball right back to Sutton. Easy play, 1 away for Dale Swain. 6-7, switch hitter batting left is a ground ball shortstop X. That is Schofield. He is a 2E12 for Schofield. 2 and a 9, he'll get to that. E12 is the question. E12, he's got to avoid 15, 3, and 18. Which he does. So good play for Schofield. 2 down. And that'll bring up Glenn Braggs. Braggs also 0 for 2. 6-7, and that's a single. That's the first ding against the point of weakness for Sutton. Braggs is aboard. He needs a 5 or a 6 to get the lead. Try to get in scoring position. Does not get it, so he's got to hold. And here's Brock. He hit the 2-run homer his last time up. He's 2 for 2. 3-11, and that's a ground ball to first, and it's an easy play for Joyner to end the inning. And that's going to do it. Sutton will maintain partial endurance, so he'll keep going. We played 6. It's still 3-1 favor of the California Angels. And this will be the fatigue inning for Bill Wegman. So we definitely need to keep an eye on that. As we start the top of the 7th. And McLemore will be your leadoff man. He's 0 for 2, followed by Miller and Downing. 3-1 Angels, top of the 7th. 4-5, switch hitter batting left is a leadoff walk. That could be problems because McLemore has good speed. So McLemore will be looking to get the lead, needs a 4, 5, or a 6 to get that lead. Does not get it, so he's got to hold. Here's Darryl Miller, 0 for 2. 3-10, and that is, he's 0 for 2 no longer. 1-12 is a double. 10-20 is a single. I'm sorry, 13-20 is a single. That's a 7. It's a double, 2 stars. So all of a sudden now the Brewer bullpen is up in earnest as they have 2 on and nobody out. Runners at second and third. The infield's going to have to come in. Brian Downing is 3 for 3 against Wegman. Look at the bullpen arms available for the Brewers. You have Chuck Krim, Chris Basio, and Mark Clear from the right side. You have Paul Mirabella, John Henry Johnson, who was just called up, and Dan Plesac from the left side. So it depends on which way you want to go. The next lefty to come up is Joyner. White's a switch hitter. Downing's a righty. So it looks to me like they are looking at left-hander left-hander Paul Mirabella is loosening in the bullpen. But they're going to let Wegman continue. Infield is in against Downing. They really have no choice, down 3-1. They got to try to choke off these runs. That's a 5-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. And that's the center fielder Yount. He's a 2E6. 2 and a 15. Don't know if that's deep enough for the sac fly or not. We'll find out. And a 15 is an F2, so it will be a sacrifice fly. Now let's make sure there's no error. He is an E6. Has to avoid 4, 3, 15, and 18. 4, 3, 15, and 18. And he does. But there will be a sacrifice fly off the bat of Brian Downing. That will score McLemore. And it's now a 4-1 ball game. And that'll send up Devon White, switch hitter. Homered his last time up. Runner at second, Miller, not being held. 1 out. 4-1 game. This is the last batter Wegman's going to face as they have Mirabella ready for Joyner. That's a leaner, so I'm going to re-roll that. It's a 6-8, switch hitter batting left. It's a ground ball second AC. That will get the runner Miller to third base on the ground out, but that's going to do it for Wegman. The move has already been made to the bullpen. The signal has been made, and Wegman will be leaving. Mirabella will be coming on, the left-hander with the Brewers, to face Wally World. So Wegman's day is done. And Paul Mirabella coming on, left-hander. Let's get the numbers on Mirabella out of the Brewers bullpen, left-handed pitcher. He comes into this game with a 1-0 record and a 0 ERA, 7 innings pitched, no runs allowed, 5 hits. He has walked 6 and struck out 4. So 6 walks in 7 innings, a little bit troublesome. With a runner at third and 2 outs, they're hoping they can get Wally Joyner and get out of this inning. In fact, this might be the only batter he faces. They have right-hander activity. Right-handed activity, Chris Bosio is ready to come in case he doesn't get Joyner. 2-6 for Joyner, and he just cracks a double off of Mirabella. That's charged to Wegman. But an RBI double for Joyner, and that now makes it a 5-1 game. Not exactly what the Brewers had in mind, that's for certain. Tom Trebelhorn not happy. They're going to let Mirabella stay in and face DeCenso. Try to get out of this inning. It's a 1-7, and he struck him out, so he does get out of the inning. But 2 runs come in for the Angels, and then take a 5-1 lead. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch time, we'll get the numbers on Wegman now. We can close the book on Wegman. So we'll go to the Strat computer for that information to get the final total on Wegman. Wegman's going to go 6 2/3. Going to give up 7 hits, 5 runs, all earned. 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. And Mirabella will actually stay in the game, I think, because Howell is a lefty, Schofield is a righty, and Pettis a switch. So I think they're going to stick with Mirabella going into the 8th inning. We will see. Don Sutton still has partial endurance, so he will stay out there. He's scheduled to face Robideau, O'Brien, and Manning. But since we're in the 7th inning, pinch hitters are now optional. If the Brew Crew wants to go that way, it's up to them how they want to handle that. Robideau, hitter in the world, although he has a good average in the replay, but he's not doing so well real world. But I think they would go ahead and stick with him since it's a lefty. Now, O'Brien's a different story. They're probably going to pinch hit for O'Brien. So they do have Cecil Cooper, the veteran, on the bench. So Cecil Cooper will come in and hit for O'Brien, and Bill Schroeder will take over as catcher. So that's the way they will work that. So let's update our entries here. Cooper will pinch hit here in the 7th inning. And then Schroeder will take over as the catcher in the 8th. So that's the way they will play that. That leaves Jim Paciorek, the only bench player left for the Brewers. So bottom of the 7th. We'll skip the 7th inning stretch and just keep rolling. Billy Joe Robideau, the batter. He's 0 for 2. 6-11, and that's a ground ball first base X. That's Joyner. He's a 1-E11. You know he's going to get to it with a 1. We're just checking the E11. If he gets to it, he'll flip to Sutton, and the first out will be recorded. That's a 12. But the first baseman is an E11 and a 12. We rolled a 12. E11, there is no 12. So he will get to it, flip to Sutton covering first, and there's 1 away. 1 down, and now the pinch hitter Cecil Cooper stepping to the plate. Cooper, get the numbers on Cooper on the replay. To this point, is hitting .246, 5 homers, 12 driven in. 5-6, and that's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he has not reached the point of fatigue, so the strikeout will stand for Sutton. So Cooper is out of there. And that brings up Rick Manning with 2 outs and the bases clear. I'm sorry, I put this down wrong, didn't I? I wrote this in incorrectly. Good thing I have correction tape. And 3-1 should be up here. The strikeout should be there for the pinch hitter. And this should be blank, and whatever happens to Rick Manning happens to Rick Manning. There we go. Now Rick Manning is at the plate. He's 0 for 2. That's a 6-10, and that's going to be a ballpark single check, 1-6, but that's a 7. So he will fly it to left, and that's going to end the inning. Fly ball to left. Sutton continues to keep partial endurance, so we'll see if they cap him at 7 innings or whether they decide to go further. They might just cap him at 7 innings. I think they will. So Sutton's going to be done after 7 innings of pitching. Schroeder will be the new catcher. Mirabella was going to come back out and pitch the 8th inning, and he'll be facing Jack Howell, Schofield, and Pettis. Schroeder coming in to catch for the Brew Crew. Again, leaves Jim Pachorek as the only bench player remaining. And we need to get the totals on Sutton. Noon is done. Pitches. 7 innings pitched. 4. 1 run, which was the home run to Brock. 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. So excellent performance by Don Sutton, and he's looking to improve his record to 2-2, and it's looking pretty good that he can do that. And we'll figure out who the Angels want to bring in from their bullpen. They do have the following guys: Dwayne Bice from the right side, Mike Cook from the right side, and Donnie Moore from the right side, Chuck Finley from the left side, and Gary Lucas from the left side. Those are the available pitchers. We'll see who's got the most rest and what part of the lineup we're in for the Brewers when the time comes, and we'll figure it out. All right, right now, Jack Howell was switch hitter, lefty, and righty, so it's pretty much going the way you want. Here's Jack Howell. 2-4 for Howell against the lefty. It's a ground ball to short, and handled over there by Swain for out number 1. So Howell is out of there. 1 away, and that brings up Dick Schofield. Dickie Schofield. 1-9 for Schofield, and that's a 1-5 double, and that is a double. That is a 5 there, so that will be a double for Dickie Schofield. Angels looking for some insurance. Here's Gary Pettis. Runner at second, Schofield will not be held. Here's Pettis. Switch hitter, and now turn around bat right-handed. 4-9, and that's a walk. So Mirabella walks Pettis, and McLemore is coming up, and Basio is almost ready to come in for the Brew Crew. They give Mirabella one more batter, get him face McLemore, but for the right-hander Miller, they will be going to the bullpen for Basio. So Mirabella gets one more chance to get McLemore, maybe turn a double play. 4-6, and they don't. That's a solid double. Solid double for McLemore. It will score. Schofield will probably score Pettis as well. He runs as a 17. He was a trail runner, not being held, makes him an 18. It went to center field, which is young. It's a +2, it's a 20. So basically it's a 1-19. So they're going to let that run score and hold McLemore at second base. But that will be it for Mirabella, as Mirabella gets dinged around quite a bit. It is now 7-1 Angels. And that's going to be it for Mirabella. They will go to the bullpen for Chris Basio. And the Brewers getting their head handed to them in this game for sure. Not a typical Brewer game, that's for sure, as they are running into issues. And Chris Basio will be coming on to try to – he's basically in there to finish the game. I don't think they want to go to any more pitchers. They don't want to waste any more pitchers when it's a 7-1 game. So they're going to say, Chris Basio, you finish it out. Basio's a +1 hold. Not that it matters. Schroeder, the new catcher, let's see what his arm is. He's a +1, so it's a +2, but I don't think with the score being what it is that we have to worry about too many steals. So Darryl Miller will be your new batter against the new pitcher Basio. And we're going to get the numbers on Basio. Can't close the book yet on Mirabella because he is responsible for the runner on base. Basio coming in. He is 0-0 with 2 saves, a 3.94 earned run average, 16 innings pitched, 16 hits, 4 walks, 17 strikeouts. Basio to Miller. That one die did not go through, so let's re-roll that. 2-7 for Miller, and that's a ground ball third base ace. That'll freeze the runner at second base. He will stay right where he is. And Brian Downing up again. He is 3 for 3 with a sacrifice fly and 2 runs scored. That's a 1. So Bassio's wild pitch rating. Let's check his wild pitch rating. His wild pitch rating is a 16. Not good at all. This could very well get to the backstop. And it does. So it's a wild pitch. That's going to move McLemore to third base. So the wild pitch sends McLemore to third. It's still a clutch situation, even though it's a 7-1 game. Here's Downing. 1-4, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-6. That's another 1. That double die comes up again, and that wild pitch causes a run because that was only a 1-star advancement, but the wild pitch put him at third. And boy, Brian Downing got to be the player of the game, you would think, with 4 for 4 with a sacrifice fly, a couple of RBIs. It is now 8-1 California. That run is charged to Mirabella. We can close the book on him now. Here's Devon White against Basio or bust the rest of the game for the Brewers. 6-3, switch hitter batting left is a ballpark single again, 1-6. That's another 1. Boy, that double die keeps coming up as a 1. And Basio's going to file a complaint to the league president the way this thing is going. Here's Wally Joyner. Joyner. 3-5 for Joyner. That's a walk. That'll load the bases for Doug DeSensei. Basio's not faring too well. Here's DeSensei. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 3 are already in. 9th man to bat in the inning is DeSensei. 4-7. That's a single to left. That's a base hit. Scoring is Downing. White's going to score as well. He's a 17 with 2 outs, makes him a 19. Not being held makes him a 20. The single to left, Manning's a 0. It's a 1-20, 1-19 basically. So he will score. Joyner will stop at second base. But the Angels have batted around in this inning. And they put 5 on the board. It's now 10-1 favor of the Angels. And that's going to be it for Basio. Brewers don't want to go with Basio any further. They're going to bring in John Henry Johnson to make his debut. John Henry Johnson will make the debut. As they have batted around, Howe started the inning by grounding to short. So John Henry Johnson will be coming on for the Brewers. And will clean up the bullpen for the Brewers at the end of the inning. But John Henry Johnson will be coming on to face Jack Howell. John Henry Johnson. He had a cup of coffee to start the season, but hasn't pitched much. He's only gone 2 innings. He is 1-0 with a 540 earned run average. 2 innings pitched a hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. So not a whole lot of activity there. Angels, will they pinch hit for Howell and bring in a better defender? That's possible. Howell's not that good in left field. Actually, he's pretty bad in left field. They don't have a whole lot of offense, though, to go with. So, actually, they're going to let Howell hit. He can score what it is. I'll just go ahead and let Howell hit. So, runners at first and second, 2 outs. That's a 1. John Henry Johnson's wild pitch is an 8. And that's a 6. It's another wild pitch. The double die has been coming up with all these low numbers this inning, creating lots of havoc. Now it's second and third. 2 outs, and here's Howell against Johnson, left field, left field. To 4-6, and that's a 1-18 single. That's an 11. It's a base hit. It's going to score a run. That run is charged to Basio. Howell with the single. Going to third is DeSensei, but another run is in. It is now 11-1. 6 innings, 6 runs in the inning. Here's Schofield. But they're not going to use another pitcher. They'll bring in a position player if they have to. Not going to bring any more in the bullpen. 4-7. That's a single, 2 stars. That'll score another run. 7 runs in the inning. And I was talking about how I was liking there was a pitching duel going on early. Well, that just got blown out the window by the bullpen. And now Gary Pettis is your batter against John Henry Johnson. 6'9", switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a double to, I don't know if you can see, that's a double to center field against the right-handed hitter. That's a double to center. That will score another run. Schofield will mercifully stop at third on the double by Gary Pettis, and is now 13-1, 8 runs in the inning. And Mark McLemore, your batter. And actually, McLemore will be called back, and they will give some other guys some chances. Gus Polidor will pinch hit and stay in the game to play second base. This is scrub time to give some scrubs some at-bats. So Polidor will come in and pinch hit in the 8th and play second base in the 8th in back of McLemore. So Gus Polidor will take over at second base in the 8th after he pinch hits for McLemore. Polidor on the replay is hitting 125. He's 1 out of 8, so he definitely needs some at-bats. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. Clutch situation, supposedly, even though the score is way out of line. That's a 4-9 right-handed. That's a 1-9 triple. 10-20 is a double. That's a double. A 2-run pinch hit double for Gus Polidor. And that is another 10-run inning. He had a 10-run inning last night. We got a 10-run inning today. What's up with what the hell's going on with these 10-run innings? Second game in a row, I've had a 10-run inning. And as ID Jester would say, it's just an asterisk on the Strat scoreboard. They can't put 10 up there. They have no room for double digits on their scoreboard. They do on the box score, but not on the line score during the game. So John Henry Johnson hasn't gotten anybody out. He's coming in and giving up 2 singles and 2 doubles. And that brings up Darryl Miller. But there's Johnson said Gene Mock says, you're out there, buddy. I mean, not Gene Mock, Tom Trepplehorn says, you're out there, buddy. 5-11, fly ball left field X, chance to get out of it. Rick Manning's a 1, so you know he's going to catch it, or at least get to it, but the E15 is problematic. E15, he's got to worry about that. And that's an 11. Let's see if he can get to it. E15 and an 11. Can he catch it? He can. There's a 12, but no 11. So mercifully, Rick Manning makes the catch to end the inning. But it's a 10-run 8th inning. Now, I should put an asterisk there just to match the Strat computer, but I won't do that. It is now a 15-1 ball game. And I think that's all for John Henry Johnson as well. They will probably use a position player to mop up in the 9th. Let's go to the box score and get the gory details on the Milwaukee bullpen. Mirabella goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up 3 hits and 3 runs, all earned. 1 walk and a strikeout. Well, these ERAs are going to take a hit right here. Basio, 1/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 4 runs, and a walk. No strikeouts. John Henry Johnson, let's figure out what he did on his last play. John Henry Johnson. Look at his numbers. He goes 1/3 of an inning, gives up 4 hits, 3 runs all earned, no walks or strikeouts. And who's going to come in and pitch the top of the 9th for the Brewers? That's the question. Well, they only have 1 player that's not a pitcher, and that's Jim Paciorek. So Jim Paciorek will come in and pitch the 9th inning for the Brewers to save their bullpen in this 15-1 game. And to do that, in the rule book, there is a pitcher position, bringing a position player to pitch, and we will use this card for the top of the 9th, just like we did last night with Boston. So it started out to be looking to be a decent game. Boy, it just imploded here in the 8th inning. So the Angels actually need a new pitcher because Sutton went 7, and they were going to cap Sutton at 7 innings. So they will need a new pitcher, and they will bring in Mike Cook. Mike Cook will be coming on, right-hander. Cook not that the hold matters. He's a 0 hold, but like I said, I don't think it really is going to matter. Nobody's going to run anywhere when it's 15-1. To get the numbers on Cook, and the Angels are hoping Cook can go ahead and pitch these last 2 innings and not use another reliever. Cook is 1-0 with no saves, a 3.78 earned run average, 17 innings pitched, 18 hits, 12 walks, 9 strikeouts. He'll be facing Castillo, Gantner, and Yount for the Brew Crew here in the bottom of the 8th. A 15-1 game. 3-7 is a walk, so a leadoff walk to Castillo. So Castillo is aboard on a walk, and here's Gantner. Cook to Gantner. That's a 6-3. That's a ballpark blast, but that's a 15, so it's just going to be a fly to right by Gantner. 1 down. And that'll bring up Yount. Yount 0 for 2 with a walk. Castillo at first base, not being held. 6-9, right-hander. 6-9 is another walk. So Cook now is walk 2. Not exactly what Gene Mauch was looking for. He's looking for somebody to throw strikes when you got a 15-1 lead. Here's Swain, switch hitting shortstop. He's 0 for 3. Is Swain. 2-7, and he struck him out. So Swain out on strikes. 2 down, and that will send up Glenn Braggs. Cook to Braggs. That's a 6-9 for Cook, and that's another walk. So Cook has walked the bases loaded. 2 outs bases loaded for Greg Brock. And Brock has accounted for the only run in the game for the Brewers with his home run back in the 4th inning that at the time tied the game. See what he can do here. He's 2 for 3. See what he does here against Mr. Cook. And now just drop my D20. Where'd that go? Who knows where that just went? That thing rolled all over the place. So in the meantime, I'll take my backup D20 and not worry about it. 3-10 for Brock is a fly to right field. It's going to end the inning. So they leave him loaded there.
Cynthia Scott.
They leave him loaded there. And that's going to end the inning. Inning is over. We go to the top of the 9th. Jim Pashork will be your batter. We don't even need his card because we're really using the... Yeah, Brian, I'm off today and tomorrow. Back to work on Friday. I was supposed to be off to Thursday and Friday, but I had to switch because they're shorthanded on Friday, so I'm switching and taking today and tomorrow, and I'll be back at work on Friday. Unfortunately, again, another 10-run inning, second 10-run inning in a row, going back to last night's game as well. But that just happens, you know. Can't help it. Never know what the dice are going to show. So since Pashork is your pitcher or position player pitching, we, of course, will be using this page when the 4, 5, and 6 come up on the rolls. Pashork will be pitching, and Brian Downing will be doing the hitting. Brian Downing, top of the 9th, 15-1. Angels crushing the Brew Crew. It's a 2-8, and that's going to be a hit by pitch. Boy, it's just what they needed, a hit by pitch. The first pitch thrown by position player Jim Pashork, and he plunks Brian Downing. That's not going to make Gene Mauch and the Angels very happy whatsoever. Here's Devon White. Plus, they're probably sick of Downing getting on base. He's 4 for 4 with a sacrifice fly, 3 runs scored, and 2 driven in. 5-6, and now we're off the pitcher card from Pashork. A 5-6, that's an in-home run chance. Devon White does have normal power. It is gone. So talk about payback. You got it right there. Devon White, his second home run of the game, his 4th on the season. And they pay back Mr. Pashork for hitting Downing to start the inning. No mercy there from the Angels. as Devon White crushes it. It is now 17-1, and Wally Joyner the batter. That's a 5-8. Right back here at 5-8. That's a pop out to third. One away. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. I forgot on the computer to put in Pashort the pitch, so I've got to undo all this stuff so it doesn't get charged to John Henry Johnson. Let's do that. Okay, now we need to bring in Pashort to pitch. Forgot to do that on the computer. I want to get this, make sure the stats don't get misaligned to somebody else. There we go. All right, so Joyner ends up popping up to the third baseman, Gantner, for one away. And now that brings up the Sensei. Sensei, your batter. 5-3, back to the pitcher hitting card again, or pitcher position card again. First base, center field X, fly ball center field X on a 5-3. That is Yount. He's a 2, E6. 212 will get to it. E6, just got to worry about the E6. E6 and an 8 should be okay. We'll find out. Center field. E6, there is no 8, so it's good play for Yount. 2 down. Two down, and that brings up Jack Howell, third baseman, or left fielder, actually. Jack Howell. 5-9. We're right back to the chart again. 5-9 is a ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning. So Pachor's going to go one inning and give up 2 runs. It's now 17-1. He's going one inning. He's going to give up 1 hit and 2 runs. He hit a batter. And that's going to do it for the Angels here in the top of the 9th. Go to the bottom of the 9th, 17-1 your score. 17 runs, 18 hits, and no errors for the Angels. 1 run, 4 hits, and no errors for the Brewers. So they've been abused the whole game. I mean, even pitching wise, they haven't done anything. So Cook is your pitcher. And coming up to bat, it'll be Robideau, Schroeder, and Manning due up for the Angels. Robideau, Schroeder, and Manning due up for the Angels here in the bottom of the 9th. 6-4 against Cook. That's a fly to left field. 6-5 would have been a potential home run, but he had weak power. So fly to left, 1 away. And Bill Schroeder will get his first at bat since coming in for Charlie O'Brien. Schroeder on the replay is hitting 241. 1 homer and 10 driven in. 6-6, and that's a 1-15 single. That's a 5. It'll be a base hit for Schroeder. Schroeder aboard on the base hit. Only the 5th hit for the Brewers in the game. Brings up Rick Manning. That's a 3-8. 3-8's a fly to right, 2 down. Of course, you got to remember the Brewers are without Paul Molitor or Rob Deere or B.J. Surhoff. So all 3 of those guys are hurt. So they're playing with their backups. So their division lead is definitely in question at the moment. And, of course, the real world is they tanked in May as well. 1-9 is a strikeout, and that's going to end the ball game. Ball game is mercifully over if you're the Brewers, as they just got embarrassed. I don't think there's anybody left here at County Stadium to watch it at the end. Cook's going to go 2 innings, give up just the 1 hit, no runs. And let's see, he walked the bases loaded here, so he had 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. So for the Angels, 17 runs, 18 hits, and no errors. For the Brewers, 1 run, 5 hits, and no errors. Winning pitcher was Don Sutton. He's now 2-2. Loser, Bill Wegman. He drops to 3-1, takes his first loss. Player of the game, I have to give it to Brian Downing. He went 4 for 4. A sacrifice fly, hit by pitch, scored 4 runs, drove in 2. So to me, he is the player of the game Mr. Brian Downing. It's the player of the game, Brian Downing. So let's get the totals here for everything else. Angels left on 6, Brewers left on 7. Brewers now dropped to 18-7. Angels now 12-15. So we go to our leaderboard here, or our standings board, I should say. And now, with this loss, the Brewers are dropped into an exact tie with the Yankees at 18-7. And now the Blue Jays are 3 games back. Tigers are 6.5, and they play tonight against Seattle. Cleveland is 7 games back. Baltimore 7.5. And Boston 10.5. So that's the updated standings. Not very neat, but there it is for the American League. And the Angels now improved to 12-15 with their victory. They now pulled within 6 games of Oakland. And if Texas loses, they'll tie them for 4th place. And if Minnesota wins, Minnesota would tie California for 5th place. So lots of things can happen there. That's the standings as of the first couple of games of May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Brian Downing, your player of the game. Next game on the schedule will be in Detroit. It'll be the Seattle Mariners taking on the Detroit Tigers. And the notable on this one is Kirk Gibson is going to make his season debut for the Tigers as he comes off the injured list. And backup catcher Orlando Mercado will be sent down to AAA Toledo, or whatever the AAA team was in '87 for Detroit. Not sure if it was Toledo or somebody else. Might have been somebody else back then. I don't know. Toledo now, but who knows what it was back then. But that's what the next game will be. Detroit and Seattle. That'll be tonight, roughly around 8:30. And I'm hoping for a better game because the last 2 games we've had 10-run first innings. And I really don't like the 10-run innings. You know, I'd rather have a little bit of defense. Oh, Brian, you read my mind here because I'm definitely considering doing the 1977. I've got a lot of things already set up. 1977 National League replay. And I've got the first game already set up. Padres and Reds. I mean, it's already set up, literally. It's already set up. I mean, if you look, I'll take this piece of paper off. You can see it right here. Reds and Padres. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because this is the 87 one's going to take so much out of me, a lot of time. But yeah, I would definitely like to do something nationally because I like managing with the pitcher hitting. So I might delve into this. I don't know. I haven't decided. I might do it for one team maybe, so it's not so many games. But I haven't really decided what I want to do with that yet. But the thought is on my mind. You can see it here. I've been toying with it, but I don't want to overextend myself. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, a rough outing for the Brew Crew. Angels pound 18 hits, 17 runs, put up 10 runs in the 8th inning to take what was a comfortable 5-1 lead, make it a 15-1 lead. And then adding insult to injury, they hit a 2-run home run. Devon White did off of the position player pitching, Jim Paciorek. And that just was a coup de grace, so to speak, on that one. But tonight it is Seattle, and yeah, maybe when I retire, which isn't too far away, by the way. June 6th, D-Day is my projected retirement date. Is D-Day. So see if I can stick to that or not, but that's my plan originally. So the game tonight against Seattle and Detroit, it is Mike Moore against Jack Morris. That'll be the starting pitcher matchup. But again, the big story is Kirk Gibson will be making his season debut for the Tigers, and they have sorely missed him in the lineup. But they're hoping that with him in the lineup, they can spark them to maybe make a run at these Brewers and Yankees and get back in the pennant race. So, yeah, the pitching is not good. When you got Woody Fryman as your opening day starter, that tells you all you need to know about the Reds pitching in 1977. Of course, they get Seaver later, but that's later on. But start the season, you're in bad shape. So, but they can hit, and I'll give them that. So, Anyway, all right, so that's going to do it from here. Rambled on enough. It's now 12, almost 12, was it 12:20 something? Almost 12:25, something like that. So I don't know if somebody else is streaming at noon today or what they were doing, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and probably take some more medicine and lay back down and get some more rest. Trying to get rid of this crud that I have. I don't know why I keep putting May the 3rd here. It's supposed to be Cinco de Mayo. I got May 3rd on the brain, I guess. But it is a Cinco de Mayo game in Detroit. So until next time, I hope I do as well, Brian. I'm going to try to take some more medicine and just relax a little bit. I would like to get outside and do some stuff out in the yard, but I just don't feel up to it. And I feel like I'd be better served to stay inside and rest and then try not to, try to have some energy for Friday. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great Wednesday. And if you feel up to it tonight, after RJL finishes his World Series game and inside pitch, I'll be doing the Seattle Mariners and the Detroit Tigers 1987 style from Tiger Stadium. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.